नमो ओम विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते कृतदास जी महाराज की नामिने। नमो ओम विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामिने नामिने। नमस्ते सरस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे। ओम ज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपकदा ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरुन् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं त्रैगण रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधाकृष्णपादान् सहगणललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च। हे कृष्ण करुणा सिन्धु दीनबन्धु जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिकान्ता राधाकान्ता नमोस्तुते। तप्त काञ्चन गौरांगी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंदा श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंदा। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्णा हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्णा हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भगवत धर्मा बुक की जय। श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। गुरु महाराज की हरे कृष्णा। हरे कृष्णा।
Today is chapter 10, right?
Yes.
So shall I read today?
Okay, read.
Dharma chapter 10, the sword of remembrance. Yad anudhyasina yukta karma granthi nibandhanam shindanti ko vidastasya ko na kuryat tatharatim. With sword in hand, intelligent men cut through the binding knots of reactionary work, karma, by remembering the personality of Godhead. Therefore, who will not pay attention to his message? Srimad Bhagavatam 1.2.50. The contact of a spiritual spark with material elements creates a knot which must be cut if one wants to be liberated from the actions and reactions of today's food. Liberation means freedom from the cycle of reactionary work. This liberation automatically follows for one who constantly remembers the transcendental pastimes of the personality of Godhead. This is because all the activities of the Supreme Lord, his Leela, are transcendental to the modes of the material energy. They are all attractive spiritual activities, and therefore constant association with the spiritual activities of the Supreme Lord gradually spiritualizes the conditioned soul and ultimately severs the knot of material bondage. Liberation from material bondage is therefore a byproduct of devotional service. Attainment of spiritual knowledge is not sufficient to ensure liberation. Such knowledge must be overcoated with devotional service so that ultimately the devotional service alone predominates. Then liberation is made possible. Even the reactionary work of the fruitive workers can lead one to liberation when it is overcoated with devotional service. Karma overcoated with devotional service is called karma yoga. Similarly, empirical knowledge overcoated with devotional service is called jnana yoga. But pure bhakti is independent of such karma and jnana because it alone cannot only endow one with liberation from conditional life but also award one the transcendental loving service of the Lord. Therefore, any sensible man who is above the average man with a poor fund of knowledge must constantly remember the personality of Godhead by hearing about him, by glorifying him, by remembering him, and by worshipping him always without cessation. That is the perfect way of devotional service. The Goswamis of Vrindavan, who were authorized by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to preach the Bhakti cult, rigidly followed this rule and made immense literatures of transcendental science for our benefit. They have chalked out ways for all classes of men in terms of the different castes and orders of life in pursuance of the teachings of Srimad Bhagavatam and similar authoritative scriptures. Unless we read, hear and remember these literatures, we cannot cut the knot of our karmic reactions. Suppose a man is tied very strongly with ropes. With his hands and legs bound up, he cannot move independently. Similarly, we are tied up by the laws of material nature. The more sinful we are, the more the material nature binds us. For example, we are always bound by the laws of the state, either the criminal laws or the civil laws. If we violate the criminal laws, our punishment is very severe, and if we violate the civil laws, we are punished less severely. But in either case, we are punished. For the conditioned living entities in the material world, the body itself is a punishment. But people do not know this, and so they are trying to enjoy the body just like hogs. A village hog doesn't know how abominable it is that he has the body of hog and that he must eat stool and live in filthy place. He is happy if he can simply enjoy sex with a female hog, never mind whether she is his sister, mother or daughter. This is the hog's life, eating stool and enjoying sex. We are conscious of his abominable condition, but he is thinking, oh, what a happy life I have. I am dining very nicely on first-class food and having sex without any restriction. This is life. Actually, this is Maya, illusion. Maya has two energies, the Avarnatmika Shakti and the Prakshepatmika Shakti. The Avarnatmika Shakti covers a living entity with ignorance. Even though he is living a contempt life, still he will think, I am very happy, I am all right. His real knowledge is covered, and the Prakshepatmika Shakti throws the living entity down into the ocean of material existence and keeps him there. When somebody is trying to come to Krishna consciousness, the Prakshepatmika Shakti will dictate, why are you going to the Krishna consciousness society? There are so many restrictions there, so many rules and regulations. Better give it up. And the conditioned soul thinks, why yes, this Krishna consciousness is nonsense, let me give it up. The more sinful one is, the more Maya will prevent one from becoming Krishna conscious. That is Maya's thankless task. She is just like the police department. The police are no one's enemy. But when someone commits a crime, they arrest him, put him in jail and punish him. Similarly, Maya is engaged by the supreme authority, Krishna, to punish the sinful living entities. So the knot of the materialistic way of life is very strong, and the beginning of the knot is sex life. The whole world is bound up by the material laws of nature because of the strong desire for sex. Both in the human society and the animal society, the central point is sex. People are working so hard to earn money because they want to enjoy sex. Even the hippies could not give it up. They renounced everything, their father's property, their happy life at home, but sex they could not renounce. Still, although the knot of material life is very difficult to cut, here the Bhagavatam gives us the way. Yad anudhyasina yukta karma granthi nibandhanam chindanti. With the sword of remembering Krishna, you can cut the hard knot of material life. The best way to remember Krishna is to always chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Take this sword of chanting the Maha Mantra. In this age, it is the only means for cutting the knot of material life. Material life means karma, fruitive activities. By performing fruitive activities in this life, a person creates his next body. One who acts sinfully may get a dog's body or a hog's body or a tree's body, and one who acts piously may get a demigod's body. But that is also a knot. It is not freedom, because even the demigods, the most materially advanced living beings in the universe, must die. People are trying to be happy by becoming materially advanced. They do not know that the goal of life is to attain Krishna consciousness. Nate vidhu swartha gatim hi Vishnu. Srimad Bhagavatam 7.5.31. They think by increasing motor cars we shall be happy. This is Maya, illusion. Motor cars will not make you happy. This motor car civilization will be finished within at most 100 years. Anything we manufacture, a so-called empire, a so-called material civilization, will one day be finished. All these things simply constitute so many knots in the heart, captivating us and leading us to think, what use is this Krishna consciousness movement? We must have 3 dozen motor cars and 3 dozen wine bottles, and then we will be happy. This is illusion. In the mood of someone bound up by illusion, Narottam Das Thakur sings, Satsang chhadi kainu aste vilas, te karine lagila ye karma bandha phasa. Alas, I have given up the association of Krishna's devotees because I wanted to enjoy illusory material happiness. In this way, I have become entangled in the network of karma. Here Narottam uses the word satsang, means association with devotees of Krishna. Satsang can be found in the Krishna consciousness movement, where one can hear the Srimad Bhagavatam, chant Hare Krishna, and practice how to become pure. Just the opposite is asatsanga, bad association, which leads one to intoxication, illicit sex, drinking, and so many other sinful practices. The advertisers are asatsanga. Come on, smoke cool cigarettes and make your brain cool. The rascals. How can someone become cool by smoking cigarettes? By smoking fire, one can become cool. Still, the advertisements are being presented, and the foolish people who are captivated by them smoke cigarettes to become cool. This is Maya. One who is a little intelligent, however, will immediately see the contradiction in the advertisement. This advertisement is claiming, I can become cool by smoking cigarettes. What is this nonsense? Similarly, an intelligent person can understand Maya's tricks and see the contradictions in all her allurements. Therefore, here the Bhagavatam uses the word Kovida, intelligent person. When one actually becomes intelligent, he must ask, why am I in this miserable condition of life? I do not want to die, but death is there. Why? I do not want disease, but disease is there. Why? I do not want old age, but it is forced upon me. Why? I don't want war, but the draft board is dragging me to war. Why? All intelligent person must ask all these why questions. Sanatana Goswami showed the proper way to inquire from the Guru when he approached Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Ke ami, kene amai, jare tapa tray. Who am I? Asked Sanatana Goswami. Why have I been put into this miserable condition of life? My dear Lord, because I am the king's minister and I know a little Sanskrit and Arabic, the common people call me a Pandit, a learned scholar. But to tell you frankly, if I do not know what I am and why I am suffering, what is the value of my education? This is intelligence. Intelligence is shown by self-control. The cats and dogs have no self-control. If a bull or a male cat or dog sees a female, immediately he will rape her, yet he will not be punished. But if a human being does that on the street, he will be arrested at once. The inclination to rape is there in both the animal and the human being, but a human being is supposed to control himself. Indeed, human life is meant for self-control. The more you control yourself, the more perfect a human being you become, and the more you allow your senses to run loose, the more of an animal you are. People do not know this. They want freedom, but in the name of freedom, they are becoming animals. This is their so-called civilization. So we have to follow the Bhagavatam's instruction and become Kovida, intelligent. An intelligent person should take up the sword of remembrance of Krishna, Anudhyasina, and cut the knot of attachment to material enjoyment. One meaning of the prefix Anu in Anudhyasina is following. This indicates we should follow in the footsteps of a genuine spiritual master or Acharya. What the Acharya is teaching and showing, by his example we should follow. Another meaning of Anu is always. We should always remember Krishna if we want to cut the knot of karma binding us to birth and death in this material world. It is the knot of karma that forces us to transmigrate from one body to another. This is not Darwin's theory of evolution. The nature causes a gradual evolution of bodies. Rather, each soul determines his future body by his actions in this life. The bodies are already there, and a living entity simply enters a particular type of body according to his karma. Suppose I act so abominably in this life that in my next life I must suffer the punishment of becoming a dog. Then I'll have to enter the womb of a female dog, and she will give me the body of dog. Eventually, I will come out and experience life in a dog's body. This is the law of karma. So you can become dog or you can become a god. As a human being, you have the facility to become either. You simply have to choose. As Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita 9.25, Yanti deva vrata devan, pitran yanti pitra vrata, bhutani yanti bhutechya, yanti mad yajino pimam. Those who worship the demigods will take birth among the demigods. Those who worship the ancestors go to the ancestors. Those who worship ghosts and spirits will take birth among such beings. And those who worship me will live with me. But if you want to live with God in the spiritual world, you must have a body like His. Just as if you want to live in the water, you must have the body of a fish. And if you don't want to live with God, if you want to enjoy unrestricted sense enjoyment, then you can take the body of a hog. Nature gives the chance to every human being to select his own future. No one is forced. Therefore, one must be intelligent and inquire, how can I be freed from material bondage? The Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, answers this question in the Bhagavad Gita 4.9. Janma karma cha me divyam evam yo veti tattvata tyaktva deham punarjanma naiti mam eti su Arjuna. One who knows the transcendental nature of my appearance and activities does not, upon leaving the body, take his birth again in this material world, but attains my eternal abode, O Arjuna. Here Krishna says that one must know him in truth, tattvata. Such knowledge comes from authorized shastras like the Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam. But today so many rascals are advertising you don't need to understand God through any book. Just accept me as God, and people are so foolish that they accept such rascals as God. Every claim in the scientific world is supported by some book. For example, suppose someone comes upon a tree and claims it is a mango tree. Then one can check the claim by referring to a book on botany and learning the characteristics of a mango tree, how its leaves are shaped, how its fruits taste, and so on. The same is true in the fields of chemistry, physics, and every other science. Similarly, there is a process for testing whether someone is God or not. When Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was asked how to test if a person is God, he said, the Shastra mentions the characteristics of God. If someone has those characteristics, he is God. So we are accepting Krishna as God, not on blind faith, but because his character and activities are mentioned in the Shastra. And we should use the same process to determine who is a genuine spiritual master, not by blind faith, but by reference to Shastra. About the genuine Guru, the Srimad Bhagavatam 11.3.21 says, Tasmat Gurum Prapadyeta Jigyasu Shreya Uttamam Shabde Paracha Nishnatam Brahmani Upasmashrayam. A person who seriously desires real happiness must seek out a bona fide spiritual master and take shelter of him by initiation. The qualification of the bona fide Guru is that he has realized the conclusions of the scriptures by deliberation and is able to convince others of this conclusion. Such great personalities who have taken shelter of the Supreme Godhead, leaving aside all material considerations, should be understood to be bona fide spiritual masters. So one should be intelligent enough to take shelter of a bona fide Guru. This will enable one to cut the hard knot of material life with the weapon of remembrance of Krishna. It is not difficult. One simply has to cultivate an attraction for hearing about Krishna. Katha Ratim. You don't need to pass an MA or a PhD examination. God has given you ears. Simply sit down and hear books like Srimad Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita from a realized person. These books contain everything you need to understand God. All you have to do is increase your attachment for hearing them. Simply by hearing repeatedly, you will become expert in the science of God. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has approved this process. Sthane sita shruti gatam tanuvan manubhi. Remain in your social position, but try to hear the transcendental message from realized souls. You will gradually become enlightened and cut the knot of material bondage. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much. So I'll give a little explanation. This chapter entitled as the Sword of Remembrance. So first I'll read the verse. Yad anudhyashina yuktaha karma granthi nibandhanam chindanti ko vidastasya kona kuryat katharatim. With sword in hand, intelligent men cut through the binding knots of reactionary work, karma, by remembering the personality of Godhead. Therefore, who will not pay attention to his message? Okay, so this verse is also said by Sutta Goswami to the sages, and as we read in the last chapter was about how we can, the sure way to get Krishna, how you can get Krishna in a sure and short method, right? So the process which is prescribed, it's just like a prescription that you want to get Krishna, follow this. And what to follow? Shravanam, Kirtanam, Pada Sevanam, Vishnu Smaranam. These are 4 very important things. First, you have to listen about Krishna. The second is to glorify about Krishna. Third is to worship Krishna. And fourth is to remember Krishna. So this fourth is also very important. The first one is of course very important. Second thing is the Yuga Dharma of Kali Yuga. The third process is actually comprised of all the devotional service. Now comes the sword of remembrance, the remembrance thing, Vishnu Smaranam. All the time generally it happens with us that okay, we have divided our 24 hours into specific timetable in which we give 2 hours to listening lectures or Shravanam, 3 hours for Kirtan, in which chanting 16 rounds takes 1.5 hours, and rest 1.5 hours we listen Kirtan or whatever, right? Or we do Kirtan. The third is worshipping. So that is also for a specific time, given a specific time. Like in the morning or in the evening, we are just engaging ourselves in the half an hour or 45 minutes of worshipping Krishna. But this remembrance thing, this actually gets skipped out of the schedule, right? We chanted for 1.5 or 2 hours, then we listen for 1 hour or 2 hours, and then we worshipped for 45 minutes, and rest of the time actually goes into material things, whether we are going to office or job or school or colleges or associating with some other people. So this remembrance thing is actually skipped out. But Prabhupada says, and Sutta Goswami says, and Shastra says, Srimad Bhagavatam says, that this remembrance thing is actually like a sword, a very sharp-edged sword. By using this sword in hand, you can cut through the binding knots of reactionary work or karma by remembering the personality of Godhead. So this, we have for all the 3 bhakti processes, we have specific times, but for this process of remembrance you should dedicate your 24 hours. Apart from chanting, listening and glorifying and worshipping, this remembrance thing, Vishnu Smaranam, should be continued 24 hours a day. An intelligent man follow this thing, and then he liberates himself from the binding knots of karma. But generally what happens with devotees or with us, or normally, that we focus on the 3 things, Shravanam, Kirtanam, Pada Sevanam, but we generally skip this remembrance because we don't remember Krishna all the time, right? So the thing is that all the time in our mind, glories of Krishna, pastimes of Krishna, and the beauty of Krishna, verses related to Krishna, they should all the time be it should be going through into our mind all the time. Remembering Krishna is very important, and Krishna has himself actually focused, and he has emphasized in Bhagavad Gita on remembering him. First he says in 9th chapter in 22nd verse, he says, Ananyash chintayantu mam. Ananyash chintayantu mam. You should chintan means to think on. So he says, just think of me all the time. Ananyash chintayantu mam ye jana paryupasate tesham nityabhyuktanam yogakshemam vahamyaham. Those who worship me with devotion and meditating on my transcendental form, to them I carry what they lack and preserve what they have. So he says that those who worship me and those who meditate on my transcendental form. So meditation or remembrance is very important. You have to think all the time of Krishna. And then Krishna make a promise that he will provide you whatever you are lacking in your life, and he will preserve you what you already have got in your life. Right? And then he again says in 12th chapter, he says, Ye tu sarvani karmani mai sannyasya matpara anannena aiva yogena mam dhyayantu pasate. And then he says, Te shamaham samudharta mrityu samsara sagarat bhavaminachirat partha maya reshita chetasam. This also means that for one who worships me, giving up all his activities unto me and being devoted to me without deviation, engaged in devotional services and always meditating upon me. Here also he says that always meditating upon me, who has fixed his mind upon me. So meditation and remembrance can be done only if one can fix his mind on Krishna. So he clearly says, who fixed his mind upon me, O son of Pritha, for him I am the swift deliverer from the ocean of birth and death. He clearly makes a promise here, that whosoever concentrates on my form, on my name, I deliver him from this ocean of birth and death. And then again in the 18th chapter, he says, Man mana bhav mad bhakto mad yai mam namaskuru ma nivaishyasi satyatme prati jane priyosi me. Means always think of me. The very first statement he makes in this verse is always think of me. So here he also represents the importance of remembrance of Krishna. He says, always think of me and become my devotee. Worship me and offer your homage unto me. Thus you will come to me without fail. I promise you, because you are my friend. So here also Krishna makes this promise that if you always think of me, then you will come to me without fail. Like there is no doubt in that the person will get back to Krishna, get back to Godhead, if he is all the time thinking of Krishna. So this is very important. Sutta Goswami and Prabhupada has dedicated an entire chapter of this book for the remembrance thing, because it is very important. And we should take this into consideration. Apart from our chanting, apart from our listening, apart from our worshipping, the remembrance of Krishna is very important. Like in our mind, the thoughts of Krishna should always, all the time should go just to and fro, like oscillate in our mind. When Uddhav came to Braj and tried to pacify gopis and said that forget Krishna. So gopis said that we want to forget him, but we cannot. Gopis said that Krishna is so much, we are so much absorbed in Krishna, Krishna is so much into us that we cannot do our daily household works properly, They said that actually we want to forget him. Forget that ill-minded person, they used to say Krishna. We want to forget him, forget that black body, black complexion person. But actually we cannot. Krishna is so much into us. So they used to remember all the time of Krishna. Maya Yashoda, she used to think constantly of Krishna. Radharani used to think constantly of Krishna. All the great devotees, Prabhupada and Goswamis and lots of our great acharyas, apart from all their basic Navada Bhakti thing, they used to remember Krishna all the time, 24 hours. And this is very important. If you practice remembering Krishna while you are living, then it will be very easy for everybody to, at the time of death, they can remember Krishna. Otherwise, while lying on your deathbed, you cannot chant your 16 rounds. While lying on your deathbed, you cannot, because your tongue is choked, your ears are choked, you cannot say anything. So you cannot glorify about Krishna. Lying on deathbed, you cannot make offerings to Krishna or worship Krishna. offering flowers or leaves or tulsi leaves or water or fruits, anything. You cannot worship him. But the only thing that you can do while you are lying on your deathbed is actually remembering Krishna. So remembrance is the thing which you can take along with you till the time of your death. Your soul is leaving your body. At that time also you can remember Krishna, but you cannot do any other types of Navada Bhakti at that time. Only remembrance. So that is why remembrance is so very important. And that is why Sutta Goswami is saying that with sword in hand, remembrance it's like a sword. It's very sharp-edged sword, right? And if that sword is in your hand, you can cut through the binding knots of reactionary work immediately by remembering the personality of Godhead. And therefore, who will not pay attention to his message? So, person who are not paying attention to his messages are literally foolish, right? So, this is a very important thing which our acharyas are trying to convey to the common people. It is mentioned in Srimad Bhagavatam 1.2.15, right? So, now Prabhupada has explained about these Maya, these material elements, that how the spiritual spark with material elements, when it gets contacted with material elements, there is a kind of Gatbandhan kind of thing. It creates a knot, and that knot is very, very difficult to open up. In our, like in my community, when we get married, so after the girl is, she reaches the in-laws home. So the very first rasam, or or we can say the tradition is there, that the groom and the bride are made to sit together, and before marriage both of them gets a thread tied onto their wrist, and that thread has to be opened by the groom. The groom will open the thread of the bride, and bride will open the thread of the groom, and that too with left hand. And the knots are very tight, and unless and until you open those knots, you are not allowed to stay together. So it's a funny tradition, but it's actually followed, and it's very important. So this is actually the first thing, which is when the girl reaches the in-laws house, this tradition. So I'm just trying to say that knots, when knots are tied, it's very difficult to open up, right? Similarly, when the spiritual spark ties the knot with material elements, it is very, very important to cut it or open it anyhow, because unless and until these knots are open, you cannot leave this material world. The spiritual spark cannot leave this material world. It has to stay here. It will be stuck out here, right? And how you can cut this knot? This verse of Srimad Bhagavatam states that by the sword of remembering Krishna, you can cut this knot, and then you can be liberated from the cycle of reactionary work. Okay. So next paragraph, Prabhupada is saying that liberation from material bondage is therefore a byproduct of devotional service. If you are getting devotional service, then actually you are, like, if you are serving Krishna, then mukti or liberation is actually the byproduct. It is, it is secondary. The true devotees do not ask for mukti or liberation. They just ask for pure devotional service unto the lotus feet of Shri Radha and Krishna. And when you will get the devotional service into the feet of Radha and Krishna, the mukti will automatically be, it will follow you. There is a very nice Padvavali in Hindi, in which Mukti Devi is asking Krishna, and what she is saying, Mukti kahe Gopal se meri mukti bataye, Brajraj ude mastak lage meri mukti ho jaye. It's in the glorification of Braj Dham or Braj Bhumi. That the goddess of liberation is herself asking Krishna that how will I be liberated? I am the goddess of liberation. Tell me the way how I can be liberated. And she is saying, if the dust of the Braj Bhumi gets onto my head, then me, the goddess of liberation, will also be liberated. It's a very high, a high thing to understand, that the goddess of liberation herself is asking for liberation. So devotees do not ask for liberation at any time of their life. They just want the pure devotional services, the loving devotional services for Radha and Krishna, and mukti actually goes behind those devotees. So therefore Prabhupada is saying that liberation is actually a byproduct of devotional service. Attainment of spiritual knowledge is not sufficient to ensure liberation. It should be overcoated with devotional service. When Gyan is overcoated with devotional service, knowledge is overcoated with devotional service, it becomes Gyan Yoga. When actions are overcoated with devotional service, they become Karma Yoga. But pure bhakti, the bhakti yoga or the bhakti thing, or simply the devotional services, they are independent of karma and gyan. Even if you are not karmi, even if you are not jnani, even if you are just illiterate, then also you can perform the bhakti yoga very nicely and get to the highest transcendental position in the abode of Shri Radha and Krishna. For performing bhakti yoga, there is no qualification required. Right? Therefore, any sensible man who is above the average man with a poor fund of knowledge must constantly remember the personality of Godhead by hearing Him, glorifying Him and remembering Him, and by worshipping Him without cessation. You should not stop in performing all these processes of Navada Bhakti. Okay? So, among this, this chapter gives the importance on the sword of remembrance, or the process of remembrance. Unless we read here and remember these literatures, we cannot cut the knot of our karmic reactions. Suppose a man is tied very strongly with ropes, with his hands and legs bound up, he cannot move independently. Similarly, we are tied up by the laws of material nature. And the more sinful we are, the more tight those laws are for us. So if you want to cut those threads, those strings, then you have to engage yourself in the bhakti of, in the devotional service of Krishna. This is very important for conditioned soul, because a conditioned soul is continuously under the influence of Maya. And Prabhupada explains there are two kinds of Maya Shakti, or illusionary energy. First is Avaran Atmika Shakti, and second is Prakshep Atmika Shakti. Avaran Atmika means, in Hindi, Avaran means to cover up. It says that it's Avarit or Avaran. It means that it's covered up. So Avaran Atmika Shakti, what it does, it puts a cover on the intelligence or the thinking ability of a conditioned soul. So he is not able to distinguish between the absolute and the non-absolute thing. He cannot distinguish between the spirituality and the materiality. And then the another action comes from the Prakshep Atmika Shakti, which pushes the conditioned soul, which is covered by the Avaran Atmika Shakti, into the material world. And it will force, and the Prapeksha Atmika Shakti will make sure that the conditioned soul shall not return to the Krishna consciousness. Right? And because of these two forms of the material energy, a conditioned soul thinks that in whatever life form, whether he is living as a hog life, the most filtered form of life is the hog life. Whether he is in that form of life, or in the dog form, or in the bird form, he will think that, oh, he is enjoying so much. He has no restriction on sex life, he can mate with anyone, and he is getting to eat all the delicious and sumptuous food. Right? If you compare today's human society, the way in which today's human society is heading, especially the Western world, and the Eastern world and Middle Eastern world is also now trying to follow the Western world, they are moving in the same direction. They have no restrictions on sex life, and they can eat almost everything. almost anything they can eat. So this is in these two things actually they are finding the pleasures of life, that they can have sex with anyone, they have no restrictions, no moral values, and second thing is they can eat anything. In some places of China and Taiwan, they are sometimes eating the aborted embryos of humans also. So this is the limit to eat anything, right? So they are no less than a hog. So that is why Prabhupada is saying that the Maya Shakti is very, very powerful. It can throw you to the most filthy levels of life. So we have to be very aware. We have to remember Krishna all the time. The more sinful one is, the more Maya will prevent one from becoming Krishna consciousness. Because Maya is what? Maya is actually the external energy of Krishna. She is the protector. She is actually Durga, who is the protector, who is actually the jailer. And jailer makes sure that unless and until you are free from all your contaminations and impurities, you are not getting out of the jail. The jail is meant to make a prisoner free from all the ill things that he is taking into his heart. You have the habit of stealing, you are a thief, then you are put into jail where you are made a gentle person, that when you get out of the jail, you are not at all engaged in the stealing business. You are not at all a thief. You come out as a gentle person. Right? So similarly, Maya makes sure that not a single sinful soul is going back to Krishna. All the souls who are getting back to Krishna, they must be in their purest form, the most original form, as once they entered into the material world. When they entered into the material world, they were very pure. But as soon as they get in contact with the material things, they started becoming impure. So Maya makes sure that as you get out of this world again, this material world again, you gain your purest form as the part and parcel of Krishna, and then only you get back to Krishna. Prabhupada used to say Krishna is not so cheap that anyone can approach him. No. And Maya takes care of that. So unless and until you become pure, Maya will keep testing on you. Okay? So the knot of materialistic way of life is very strong, and the beginning of the knot is sex life, in which this Prabhupada has explained in very detail. So material life means karma, fruitive activities, and as much as fruitive activities you will perform, as much as tight knot you are creating for yourself with this material body. So you should learn to surrender your fruits of action to the Supreme Personality, to the Supreme Lord. In this way, you will be your knots will be loose, so they'll be open up readily. Okay. So this is what the song which Narottam Das Thakur has sung. Satsanga chadi kaino asate vilas te karne lagila ye karma bandhan phas. That alas, I have given up the association of Krishna's devotees because I wanted to enjoy illusory material happiness. In this way, I have become entangled in the network of karma. So devotees association is very important. If you are associating with devotees, in their association, if you are progressing in Krishna consciousness, then Maya will not able to defeat you. But if you think that okay, I can do it on my own and I don't need any association, I don't need any support, then if you are alone, then Maya attacks you. Like, have you seen a lion? Lion doesn't attack in the herd of sheep or in the herd of deer. He attacks only when the sheep or the lion or the deer is alone, right? Or they are spread out. They are scarcely present here and there. So in the same way, Maya also attacks when you are away from the association of devotees. Okay. So all right, rest all I think is clear. So that is where Prabhupada is focusing, that one must be intelligent and inquire that how can I be free from material bondage. And the Supreme Personality of Godhead Krishna answered this question in Bhagavad Gita, that Janma Karma Chame Divyam Evam Yo Veti Tatvata Tyaktva Deham Punarjanma Nati Mameti. So Arjuna, so one who knows the transcendental nature of my appearance and activities does not upon leaving the body take his birth again in this material world, but attains my eternal abode, O Arjuna. So here Krishna says that one must know him in truth, Tattvata. Such knowledge comes from authorized shastras like Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam. Okay, so a person should make a daily habit of reading these books under the guidance of a authentic spiritual master. Then only one can understand the transcendental nature and form and appearance of the Supreme Personality. Okay, so all right, a person who seriously desires real happiness must seek out of a bona fide spiritual master and take shelter of him by initiation. So all these practices has to be done under the direction of a bona fide spiritual master, because without the shelter of a spiritual master we can never ever progress in bhakti, and we will go straight up to a certain time period, and then again we will be diverted. But if we are heading under the guidance of our guru, then we will, in lifelong we will be in the right direction. Okay, so we should pray to Krishna that we get a bona fide guru in our life, and then we should immediately take shelter of such spiritual master. This will enable one to cut the hard knot of material life with the weapon of remembrance of Krishna. Guru will make you remember Krishna all the time, and Guru can cut the knot of Krishna, because Guru is already liberated. Anyone who is already tied in a knot cannot liberate you from that knot. Anyone who is free from that knot can only liberate you, and the Guru or the spiritual master is the person who is already liberated. They are the liberal souls, right? So they can liberate you from these knots. So under the guidance of a proper spiritual master, taking shelter of him and rendering your services in a very humble manner in the favor of Guru, one should take instructions of Guru and follow whatever instruction Guru is giving to you. In this way, following Guru's instruction, we can reach to a point of transcendence in our life where we will be able to cut the knots of this material world. Okay? Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Any question?
Yes, Mataji. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, actually, you explained about the liberation. I want to know, the liberation means only liberated from this material world is called a liberation. Can you hear me? The sound is clear?
Yes, Mataji.
Okay. So the liberation is only be liberated from this material world called a liberation, or going back to Godhead home is called a liberation. I want to know that.
So liberation.
And I want to know the material world is it called this universe is called the material world, that 14 planets, lokas are called the material world, right? Hare Krishna.
Yes.
Hare Krishna. 14. Yeah, material world is this. All 14 planets also called material world, isn't it? So there are people, they go to Swarga Loka. Swarga Loka also material world, right?
Yes.
Okay. And the impersonalists go to the Brahma Jyoti, like that is spiritual, right?
Yes.
They are also called liberated, they are telling. Then in that case, then demigods are not liberated, still they are caught up Maya. Is it like that?
Yes.
When we go to the spiritual world called liberated.
Yes.
Okay.
Liberations, there are 4 kind of liberations.
Okay, tell me.
So, like I know in Hindi, but I don't know what to call them in English. But 4 times. First is Sayujya Mukti, in which the soul gets, it's like mixing up with the super soul. And then the other is Sarupya Mukti, which means getting the transcendental form as like of the Supreme Personality. Then the third is Salokya Mukti, in which you get the residence along with the Supreme Personality in his abode. And Sayujya, Salokya, Sarupya, and one is also one is also there, I don't remember the term, and in which you get the opulences as that of the Supreme Personality. So there are 4 kinds of liberation. So yes, any person, any living soul who gets this type of liberation, they are actually called as liberated souls. Anyone who is reaching up to the Brahma Jyoti, they are also liberated. But the liberation that devotees want is actually, they directly do not want liberation. They want to live with Krishna. They want to live with Krishna and they want to serve Krishna. But any conditioned soul, any living soul who is living with Krishna and serving him, he will automatically get the 4 types of liberation, which are mentioned in Nectar of Devotion. So liberation means actually getting free from this material cycle of life and death. So any types of liberation, you can ask for any type of liberation, but the devotee asks only for devotional services, which is actually followed by all 4 types of liberation. Understood?
Yes, understood. Yeah, actually you mentioned the 4 types of liberation. This is meant for the people who wants to go to Vaikuntha Loka, isn't it? It looks like for me. Vaikuntha Loka, they decide these 4 types of things. Am I right?
Sorry, repeat again.
You mentioned 4 types of liberation, right? That it seems to, for me, it's for the people who wants to go to Vaikuntha Loka, they prefer this kind of liberation. These 4 types suitable for the Vaikuntha Loka. Am I right?
Yes, like liberation, what kind of liberation you are getting will depend upon your desire and the processes you are following. If you are a Nirvisheshwadi, then you will be just enter into the Brahma Jyoti.
Yeah, Brahma Jyoti, he enters, but what he feels, he doesn't feel anything, just...
No, he doesn't feel. Like just yesterday only, I was listening to the lecture of Radha Govinda Maharaj. So he explained very nicely that suppose suppose there is a conditioned soul, okay, and he has been stuck into this material world for many lifetimes, and now he is tired and he is self-realized also, and he wants to leave this material world. So he will continuously pray to Krishna that Krishna, please just free from this material world. He is not praying for devotional services. He is just praying for his own benefit, that once he will be liberated from this material world, and then he will be happy. Now he is going to he just wants to take rest. So he will be going into the Brahma Jyoti and he will be just taking rest there, doing nothing. Like Krishna is happy in his home, I am happy in my home. But I am free from this material world. That's it. Like people think that after retirement I am not going to do anything. You just go your way, I will go my way. Life partners or couples, they part their ways. Now I am happy in my home, you are happy in your home. No more interaction. But what devotees want, that I don't want this type of liberation who separates me from Krishna. I want you, whether you keep me in this material world, whether you keep me in hell or heaven or your place or Brahma Jyoti or whatever place you decide. But I want to be with you. So this feeling automatically attracts all kind of liberation. All kinds of liberation follow such kind of living soul. Once you are living with Krishna, once you are serving Krishna, then there is no need of getting back to this material world. You are already liberated. And all kinds of mukti, the 4th one is Sarshti Mukti actually. Sarshti means in which you get the opulences like of Krishna. So if you are engaged in service of Krishna 24/7 in his own abode, then you are already getting the Salokya Mukti, you are already getting the Sayujya Mukti, you are already getting the Sarstri Mukti, and you are already getting the Sarupya Mukti. If you are serving Krishna in his abode, right? So there is the difference in your asking for liberation. What kind of liberation you are asking from Krishna? Dhruv Maharaj was liberated in another way. Dhruv Maharaj served his lifetime, he served his family also, and he was a true devotee, and at the time of death, when his lifespan was completed, from Vaikuntha, the Parshad of Vishnu came with a very huge plane and very, kind of a very beautiful castle, and then he came and they took Dhruv Maharaj into the Dhruv Loka. Dhruv Loka is actually a part of Vaikuntha. Krishna gave entire lok to Dhruv Maharaj. So he also got liberated, right? So it depends on your mental status, what kind of liberation you prefer from Krishna. If you want to live with Krishna, Krishna will arrange ways in that way. And if you want to be just liberated, just to be relaxed and not to suffer this repeated cycle of birth and death anymore, then Krishna will give you something in which you will be liberated and not going back to material world. But in this way you cannot enjoy the association and beautiful pastimes of Krishna. Understood?
No, yes, understood. Thank you. Understood about the liberation. And one more thing I want to know about that Avarnatmika and Prakshatmika.
Prapekshatmika.
Prapekshatmika. If the both are the demigods also covered by these two coverings. Demigods also, because they are also in material world only, so they also face little problems. They won't be like us, isn't it?
No.
Okay, understood. Thank you.
Demigods get the body of demigods because in their previous lives they have done many pious activities, right?
Okay.
So many charities and social welfare.
It's like they focused on the karma kanda.
Yes.
Those yoga, those systems they did, and they become like that.
Yes.
Okay. So are we living in Swargaloka, or Swargaloka is different?
Swargaloka is also part of material loka.
Yeah. I'm asking about the demigods. The demigods, are they living in Swargaloka, or they have different?
There are so many lokas.
Yes. Okay. Understood. Okay, thank you. And one more thing you mentioned there, apart from this 9 devotional service, we have to keep thinking, remembering Krishna. You told in what way we have to remember the deity form of Krishna, or chanting in the mind, or the pastime of Krishna. Which one is the right one?
Any form to which you are more attached to. Like Bhishma Pitama was lying on the bed of arrows and he was remembering the Parthasarthi form of Krishna, in which Krishna was pulling the chariot of Arjuna. So Bhishma Pitama for so many days watched that same form of Krishna being the Sarthi of charioteer of Arjuna. So at the deathbed he was just meditating upon the Parthasarthi form only. So it's your attachment to which form you are more attached to. If you are attached to Nam, then you can meditate on Nam. If you are attached to form of Krishna or your own deity, or like one Mataji from Kolkata, she was very attached to Shri Radha Shyam Sundar. So by the mercy of Shri Radha Shyam Sundar from Vrindavan, when she was just about to die, she got a photograph from SCON Kolkata. That photograph was of Shri Radha Shyam Sundar. And holding that photograph near his heart, she left his body. So it depends on your attachment.
Okay, thank you. Oh, thank you so much, Mataji. It is very clear.
Okay. Any other question?
Nicely explained. No, you nicely explained.
Okay.
It's I think this chapter is too much deep, right?
Yeah.
Then so far the 8 what we read, the 8 chapters. It's giving lot of information. Actually, I felt that these two types of covering is important. When the soul is entering to the dog, the mother dog womb, it is going to be a baby dog. Then God is arranging that what the dog likes, how the way of the dog has to lead. So Krishna is making satisfaction for the even dogs also.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
That's what. Although we may think why it is too much covering, so it is there. That's what it is very difficult to remove the knot we are feeling. But if it is not there, then humans and the dogs they don't know what to enjoy. I mean, enjoying is bad only, but the Krishna made it very perfectly by these two coverings. We are fooled completely with this Maya.
Yeah, actually Krishna wants his children to be happy always. He created this material world,
yes, very
like so that they can be happy for each and every living entity. Suppose you I can give you example of a loving mother or a parent. So suppose their child is he wants something. So they will, and that thing is not very beneficial for the child, like candies and chocolates, but still parents give. They think in their mind that okay, the chocolates, too many chocolates will cause cavities in the teeth of my child, but still they provide, right? And they keep a second alternative for that as soon they'll get a medicated toothpaste, or they'll have a appointment with doctor fixed and the dental clinic, or they will have medicines at their home in case the emergency rises, because their child is too much into that, all these having these things which are actually not beneficial for him, but still he is enjoying them. So parents allow their child to a certain limit to enjoy. Yeah, right? So similarly Krishna has also made arrangements for enjoyment, where in whatever form you are living, you can enjoy. But actually the reality, Krishna knows that they are actually suffering, and they wait, and Krishna waits that when we we on our own will realize that actually we are suffering and we are not happy without Krishna. Right?
Yeah, it's nice. You give nice examples. That's correct. Eating chocolates, everything is good at the time. At the same time, mother insists to brush properly, and also something immediately they will take her going to dental clinic. At the same way, we can enjoy the life. Enjoy in the sense, okay, our daily need. Okay, daily need we can fulfill. At the same time, we have to listen. I mean, scriptures. We have to involve ourselves in listening, reading. Those things, that's called like a brushing and going to the doctor.
Yes.
But in this modern world, it is completely avoiding the spiritual life. Right? It's lucky if a person is coming to the Krishna consciousness, he is very lucky to remove the knot. Otherwise we cannot remove the knot if we won't have the God's knowledge. God's knowledge people are having. God give me this, that is materially just asking. But this spiritual life is totally different. Krishna consciousness very helpful for removing the knot.
Yes. Okay.
Thank you, Mataji. Very nicely you explained today. Thank you so much.
All right. So I think we are done with the discussion. So can we stop the class?
Yes, Mataji.
Hare Krishna, thank you so much for the discussion. It was really nice.
Okay, Hare Krishna.
I want to say one thing, Mataji. Today, Bhanumara's class is not there.